Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here this morning. It's not morning anymore. It is afternoon now. I am here this afternoon for Hibike Euphonium, Season 2, Episode 2, and most likely 3, unless 2 has like a ridiculous amount of stuff to talk about. We'll see. If the recording goes over like an hour or so, we might just watch 1, play it by ear as usual. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, last week on Hibike, we started off season 1 with the wonderfully placed two-part episode 1. Totally lost my train of thought in the middle of that middle of that sentence. Anyway, this is a weird intro already. Okay, we met a bunch of new people and had some interesting stuff happen in that first episode. I don't know how much of it is plot setup, how much of it is thematic setup, how much of it is just reintroducing us to the cast of characters and all that jazz. I don't know. But we met two primary new characters who seem like they're going to be frequently recurring, at least. We met Mizore and Nozomi, and I shouldn't know this, but I do know this. If I had been watching this when it was airing, I wouldn't know this. Actually, nobody would, because the movie wasn't announced or a thing. But these are the two main characters of Liz and the Blue Bird. They are Mizore, the oboist, who seems extremely dedicated, but in a weird way. She's always the first one to show up in the morning every morning, and the one who unlocks the room and begins practicing on her own. But we don't know much about why she acts the way that she acts, or who she really is. We got some bits and pieces of backstory, but nothing that really fits together into like any kind of conclusion that I can draw, at least. And we met Nozomi, the flautist, who seems to have been among the people who left the wind ensemble, which is interesting and at odds with some of the things that she said before. For example, a line that she said to Mizore in their bus in middle school, that they would most definitely go ahead and win gold. So she seems really dedicated, but she quit, and this creates an interesting kind of conflict of character, a little bit of dissonance there. What could have caused that? Don't know. We also got introduced to a new percussionist teacher who is a friend of Taki. I think his name is like Hashi. I don't remember his name. But he's around and seems to be a cool guy and a very different kind of guiding hand than Taki. I wonder if we'll meet like other professional friends of Taki to advise the other sections. I don't know. Could be cool. In any case, a large portion of the plot of the last episode focused on Nozomi the flautist going and asking Asuka for her permission to rejoin Wind Ensemble. And I got the feeling that it was far less of a I'm actually asking for permission, and far more of a I feel the need to do this because what I really want is like your blessing or your go ahead, or to like mend some bridge that I burned. I get the distinct feeling that Nozomi feels like she slighted Asuka and wants that to be water under the bridge. But there's so much of this is just coming from like context and like inference that we're going to need more confirmation to really understand what happened and what they're trying to do now. Adding to the intrigue here, or drama or melodrama, whatever you want to call it, I'm not sure at this point, is the scene where Kumiko comes into the place into the stairwell, heading up toward the music room, and finds Mizore like doubled over, sick to her stomach, seemingly genuinely physically nauseous at the sound of Nozomi's flute playing. That's a hell of a response to somebody playing the flute, like up over there, and being able to just barely hear them. So I'm hoping we get some kind of, well, it's curious. It's curious. It makes me curious about it. I would like to know what the hell happened there. And again, I can metagame a little bit by bringing in information that I know, because I know that these two characters are the main leads of Liz and the Blue Bird. Like, maybe it has something to do with, like, with that. I don't really know. And then we had a festival and fireworks and some kind of gorgeous scenes and some kind of beautiful stuff, and some musings from Kumiko on specifically the question of why Nozomi the flautist would have left if she loved music so much. And that's why I titled the previous episode that I just released this morning, I titled it Love, Let Go, as like, if you love something, let it go, because I have a feeling that it's something along those lines. Because of the dedication that she expressed verbally, it makes me think that she was on the side of people who wanted to like push hard and try really hard and got frustrated with those people who wanted to take it easier in the wind ensemble and may have left because of that. But that's just a guess, and there are a lot more things going on. Also, if you hear my dog barking in the background, like that, I'm not sure why she's doing that. Like, she's acting like she's really hungry, but she has a few hours to go before her dinner time is actually here. So we're just gonna do our best to ignore it and not give her attention for barking. But if you hear any yorp yorp in the background, that's why. So just pointing that out. In any case, I think that's about it. I think that we're about ready to go. So see, I want to go and like hug her and stuff, but then she'll associate I bark, he comes and gives me head pats, and I don't want to create that association if possible. So I have to do the difficult thing and ignore her as she is going. I'm sorry, Nikki. I love you. Anyway, I think that's all I've got to talk about at the beginning here. It was a big episode with a lot of interesting stuff being introduced, so I think it's deserving of a little bit of a recap. It also helps put me in the right headspace. So, let's go ahead and jump on into episode 2 of Hibike Season 2, and we'll see what happens. I have it up and ready to go. It is at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions of this reaction video, a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, and a timer-based version, which you can find in the description, and a timer-based version which will be up on YouTube. The picture-in-picture version won't have any discussion, and the timer-based version won't have a video in it, so mix and match and pick and choose which ones you want to watch for which portions. Maybe picture-in-picture version for the video part, timer version for the discussion part. I don't know, whatever works for you. Or you can just stick around on the YouTube version and sync up with your own version of Hibike if that's the way you want to watch it, which is totally cool. I mean, then you can minimize my ugly mug and not have to look at me. So, if you're using the timer-based version and syncing up, get ready, because the timer at the beginning is coming right now. We're good, we're good, we're good. Yay! Yeah. Oh man, that conversation. Let me check which subtrack I'm using really quickly. Okay, same ones. Sticking with the FFF for as long as we have them. A dream that we won't quit on. Mm-hmm. That wasn't an oboe. That's the bigger one, right? What's the oboe, the bigger one? I should just go and research all these instruments. Cool. Hot, hot, hot. Also, we were gonna have a training camp, right? I forgot to mention that. I made a note of it. to mention it, but I not intentional. I Oh, okay, so this is slightly before and okay. Hmm. Hey. And a little punny. That's cute. That's a weird face on Asuka. Like, are we about to get a beach episode, pool episode, girls in swimsuits episode? Like, I'm kind of okay with that. I'd be kind of okay with that. Just saying. Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Okay. Yamada, is that you? Oh. Oh wow. Uh, uh-huh. Oh, that is a really cute swimsuit. Look at the bow. Look at the boob bow. That's so cute. Oh. Oh. Little micro pout. Uh-huh. And look down and Oh, they didn't. Okay. Glasses. Hmm. What is that, a band? You guys are a perfect match. Flirt more. Mm. 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 Oh. Nozomi? Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 Mm-hmm. Uso. Hmm. Is this really the place though? Yeah. Good move. Yes. Yep. Things aren't the way that they used to be. That's all. Yeah. I think that's exactly what she would have wanted to hear. Yeah, alright, tell us what it changed from, please. We've got a lot of context clues, but... It's personal. Thank you, Kumiko. From leaving? That makes a lot of sense. But if that was the perspective that they split, then why is Asuka, like, not cool with her coming back? Is it just because she ran away? I see. Me too. Yeah. Who's Natsuki texting? Oh? Nozomi? Because she's the only oboe? Or that and she's good? Maybe that's... yeah. Maybe that's it, huh? Because you weren't there to help us get here, right? So it seems like you're just trying to bandwagon now that it works. I like her. I like her. Okay, we'll see. Wait, what? All right, wait, hold on. I need to timestamp that. 12-ish. What are PS for? Uh, 12, 20. The fuck? The fuck is that? Question mark. I was about to say, Raina's gonna blush. Mm-hmm. Maybe not quite the time. Hmm. Hi, doggy. Another friendo? Ballet? No, those aren't ballet slippers. Is she famous? Okay. Which puts her in direct contact with Mizore as a woodwind, right? Aw, they're cute. Aw, they're cute. I don't think it's... The power of using detailed eyes, you can take it all away. That's great. I love Goto's shh. It's hard to explain, but shh. Deshta. Oh. Beatles. What are the Beatles for? Nozomi on the phone? I. Yep. Oh, phew, thank God. Demo. Hmm. 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 Oh. Oh. Oops. Okay. Mm. Okay. She's still gonna ask, huh? Hi. She doesn't know she's there. Right. That's a bunch of misses, huh? That's kind of cute. Hey. That would freak me out. Nice small talk. It's the second time she's said that line. Why do you want to be in wind ensemble? Yeah. Oh, that was the flipped side of the same frame. Continue, quit. Oh, that's so cool. Just inertia. What are those, morning glories? I mean, I would guess that they would be Yuri lilies, but I don't think they were Yuri lilies. Cheating on you. Sorry. Oh, not happening. Oh, actually, it's Reina. She might. You got boobs. You got boobs. Pop that question. Pop the question before that question. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay, we'll do a full run through in just a moment. First things first, I want to mute and head over to about 12 minutes because there were two things in quick succession that I wanted to take a gander at. Here, okay. So they're prepping to play rock, paper, scissors. That's the girl with the hearts in her hair. Are they RPSing for the ice cream that's on the floor next to them? Also, wait. Reina ate Kumiko's ice cream. She's holding a cone in one hand and just a bar in the other and chowing down. Get it, girl? Alright. That's cool. And then... okay. I wanna... what? Okay, it's a CG space. A lot of the chairs and instruments as well. Not the people. Some of the chairs aren't, though. What? Actually, maybe the people. I really can't tell. Okay. This background is fucking amazing. Look at the reflections on the floor, on the flooring. It's like freshly waxed. That's nuts. All right. But we know that Hibike looks really good. This episode looks really good all the way through. I think, okay. Where do I, okay, let's start with an overall note on fan service. I wrote this down here, and I wrote it down at about the 10-minute mark or so during this conversation. Fan service level, mild. A lot of opportunity to gaze differently at these girls. The closest we come is, I think we do a bottom to top shot of Reina here. Yeah, we do. And it's gorgeous. But apart from that and a couple more where we are specifically in Kumiko's eyeline, right? And she is specifically like staring at Reina's tits. Besides that, most of the time, I wouldn't consider this episode to be fan service. Like, there's something, and it's done in K-On! As well. There's something about the way that these characters are drawn that desexualizes them, at least to me. And maybe this is just not a universal thing, and it's just me. But like, a scene like this, just the way that they're drawn doesn't feel like it's intended to be anything more than a bunch of characters sitting around talking. And I kind of really appreciate that. I also appreciate that we do get a little bottom to top shot of Reina because she looks really good. But I sincerely appreciate how mild the fan service is here. Like, I'm happier about how cute their outfits are than the fact that they're showing skin. Like, Kumiko's little like, her top thing with the big poofy ribbon on it is so fucking cute. I can't even. And then Midori's like little one piece is super cute too, and just right. It's like, it's just right. And then hers, which has like a wrap around the bottom and a wrap around the top, is also really, I don't know. Like, I don't care about fashion or clothes or anything, but all of these are really cute outfits and I like them a lot. Just saying. Okay, so she does say that before and says it to Nozomi. So she uses this line twice in this episode. I think that's just how it has to be, which is, I think, a pretty good way of translating Shikata ga nai, which I believe is the version she uses here. Let's hear it really quick. Shikata nai koto, yeah. Which is not, it's one of those not really translatables, but means in the general vicinity of there's nothing to be done about it, or that's the way it has to be, or so be it. Or I think the closest thing that we have, you have to read Slaughterhouse-5 to really be able to make the reference in English, but So It Goes would be a good one as far as a translation. But you have to have that context for it, otherwise it doesn't mean the same thing. But with the context, it does mean the same thing. So It Goes. Just an acceptance. And that line is kind of indicative of Kumiko's personality up to this point, which has been changing as she gets closer with Reina and like more aligned with the goal of becoming special or whatever, or, you know, wanting to improve. She's changed somewhat. And I think we see that a little bit in the hesitation with which she says this particular line. It's not as though she reaches for it immediately. It's that she comes to that conclusion after considering other options as well. You know? I don't know. Just skipping around, we get this very Yamada-esque leg shot here, with the very slight pullback and lean with, yeah. Swimsuit I bought is starting to get tight, and this puts us into the headspace of Kumiko, which is great. All the characters look fucking awesome and very attractive. But they kind of always do. It's the hair and the eyes and stuff. They're really cute. All of them are really cute. How is that possible? Carole, stop it. Okay, and then we got some, well, let's say more pieces of the puzzle. It's like we got a bunch of the corner pieces of this puzzle. So we've got the groundwork laid, and we can sort of start to make out where maybe things go. We can see that like red things go over here and blue things go over here. But the shape in the center hasn't really taken form yet. At least for me. Maybe I'm just stupid, but like I think we've got enough pieces to conjecture about reasoning. So one possibility for like why Asuka is turning Nozomi down would just be like a bit of resentment, a bit of indignation from Asuka, that she left, just that she gave up. And because of that, coming back now after they've already proven themselves with the competition, after they've already taken that first step, seems like trying to hop on the bandwagon or just come back when things are good and leave when things go bad. It's sort of like if you're not willing to stick around when things are bad, then you don't deserve to be here when things are good, right? That kind of little, it's kind of petty, but it's also very human and very understandable. And again, that's just conjecture. I'm not stuck on that as a possibility at all. The others, I think the other options would throw a little bit more shade onto Asuka. And I think that one does too. It's a little bit petty, but it's also a little bit curious. I feel like maybe something else happened in between that we haven't really found out about. Something a little bit worse. But we do get some of this from Nozomi's perspective, some of a bit of an understanding of why she's going specifically to Asuka and asking her for permission, like a blessing, right? I talked about it at the beginning of this reaction video that, like, it's not as though Asuka actually holds the power here. It's that she wants this for personal reasons. She wants the blessing or the go-ahead. And I think we get a pretty solid picture of why Nozomi thinks that way. Also, that line, I don't know, and that's why it hurts so much, is very legit. And I'm going to expect that we're going to get some different perspectives on what's gone on. Because we have a pretty clear picture of what Nozomi thinks happened from her perspective, but what does Mizori think happened? And what does Asuka think happened? Because it might be a very different picture than the one that's been presented from just one point of view. And that might not be necessarily that one of these characters is lying or trying to obfuscate or trying to make themselves seem less responsible for any bad things that happened, but just the fact, the universal fact, essentially, that people experience different situations in very different ways, and often when it comes to interpersonal conflict, two people see the problem as being two very different things, and that's the reason the conflict doesn't get resolved, because they're not able to communicate on the same level. And, like, it happens. It happens all the time. Happens all the time. So maybe there's a bit more to this story, and again, that's not really to throw shade on anybody who we've heard their side of the story, just that there might be more to the picture that they were oblivious to. So I'm curious to find out if that's the case. And it seems like with the conversation with Asuka seemingly coming up, then, well, maybe we'll find out. Seems cool. This whole sequence is kind of noticeable, was kind of notable to me because they're shot from behind, they're shot from here, like shoulder level and up, hands from behind, from below, shoulder level up. And it really isn't until here, until we get a line from Nozomi where there. It isn't until here that anything below here is even in frame. And that's part of what I'm talking about when I say that the fan service level is mild. All of it could have been in frame throughout that conversation, but it wasn't, because it's not the fucking focus. The focus is on the characters' faces, the expressions they make, the bead of condensation that runs down the glass and punctuates a statement, or it runs down the cold can and punctuates a statement. The focus is on the dialogue, and the visuals are a vehicle with which to deliver that. To shoot it as fan service would be antithetical to that. It would be bad in a it doesn't help conveyance sort of sense. So good on the direction here. And then when we do come here, it's almost as though we're framing her heart, and the reason is so that we can see her gesture, which is to close herself off, and do sort of a self-soothing self-hug. And the way she turns back around, so chipper. Don't worry about it, I'm okay. And this sparks Kumiko too. I'm trying to think, has Kumiko ever stepped forward and taken responsibility for something without being asked to? I can't think of an example, which makes me think of this as like a direct next step from I want to improve. Kind of, you know, as far as like characterizing a change in Kumiko. She offers to take action on behalf of someone else when she stands not to gain at all from doing so, when she hasn't been asked to. It's interesting. That is a little bit interesting from her. And then our ice cream and the training camp begins. So we entered the place. Blushing Reina is blushing. I guess they're all kind of blushing, but she's very notably blushing. Cute. So, we meet Girl. Girl is cute. Satomi Sensei. Cool. Everybody instantly ships them. Because she's hot and he's hot and... Right? Right. But of course, this has an effect. I think I mentioned this in Chihayafuru, because the Chihayafuru characters also have like very distinctive eye designs that are used for expressiveness, and like the Chihayafuru characters have this like large palette under their pupils in their eyes, which are used for, I don't know, for emoting. And so when you take all of that away and create like the blank stare, it's really effective. And I think it gets more effective the more detail is in the eye. And Hibike eyes, as I've said a number of times, are some of the most detailed, with the multiple layers of refracted light and the emote dots and the little highlights up here. You take all of that away and you get a pretty funny image of Reina with just 3 layers of shadow. That's great. So we get Cicada and 2 beetles going at it. One of them a horned beetle, the other one, I don't, what is it, a stag beetle? Or is stag beetle the one with the thing? Nope, that's, yeah, the one with the pinchers is the stag beetle. Horned beetle? Yeah. There are many horned beetles, but yeah, these are definitely... These would be 2 different species of beetle. I don't know if there's any, like, symbolism here. Speaking of which, where were those flowers? They were when Mizori and Kumiko are talking, and we see some frames. Oh, there was also a frame that I missed. I'm gonna speed this up a lot. All right. Yeah, I don't actually know where that was. Can I get playback speed back to normal, please? Reset rate. Okay, Control R. That's how we do that. Good to know. I was looking for the one frame that shows Mizore with hand out running through flowers and stuff, because then we get the reverse frame of it, which is Nozomi hand out pulling her through flowers and such, which is cool. Okay, these 2 foods. Oh, Goto's shh. Shen. He makes it, I think it's a fricative. I want to call it a fricative because it's like Schwellen. It's the same that's not made with your teeth with a s, but with the tongue close to your hard palate. Taki shen she. It's a little quirk, but it's also a Japanese thing. Okay, so then yeah, we talked to Nakagawa, right? If I got that name wrong, flame me in the comments. And outburst made things worse. Yeah, so she's trying to make up for it. So we're getting pieces from all over. Pretty cool. Kumiko comes outside, doesn't notice, starts listening to the song. When we first see Mizore, I believe that she's hitting like all of the beeps on the rhythm game, right? Perfect. Yeah. So as soon as somebody else enters her space, Well, she likes being alone, right? In fact, it may be that she can't sleep because they're all sleeping communally. But that's just conjecture, right? Okay, bits and pieces of information. Trying to put it all together. And then we get, it finally builds up, and I gotta say something. And she does. By awkwardly poking her in the back of the ankle, which would freak me the fuck out. But, okay. And she's very straightforward. Also, this is really fucking cute. I don't know why, but the way that she like, yeah, all right, I'll come have a seat. Hi. Okay, so she muses about this being the judge's opinion. As we see the rhythm game, we see her just barely paying attention to it at this point. 0 combo, and she finally goes ahead and pauses, and at that point it becomes symbolic. She asks these very interesting questions. You know, we get the same line. The Shikata Naiko, Shikata Naikoto? Is it the same? Hmm. Kanata. Okay. It's close enough. It's not quite the same line or the same phrasing, but it's close enough. Even though it makes so many people miserable. And then that changes to I'm miserable. And on the screen is continue or quit. Obviously, Mizori is at a crossroads or a decision point, but I get the feeling that she's been standing there at that crossroads for a long time and simply has continued doing what she was doing because of inertia without really without really ever having the option to turn from that path. That's just the feeling that I get. I don't really know. I'm miserable. Then why are you continuing with the band? And then we immediately cut to this, which is the other side of it. Public school, the bus, all of it, and the decision. Yuko, everybody, all of the reasons. So she comes back in. We have a very cute little conversation with Reina, where they're totally talking about different things, kind of, but it's still very cute. And yep, that's cute. So she asks Asuka if she has time later to talk, presumably to ask her about Nozomi. We will see if that happens, and I assume it will. And how it'll go, what'll happen, what will it be? I don't know. In any case, we are 56 minutes into recording. I said at the beginning of this that if we go much over an hour, we'll probably just watch one, and we're not, so let's watch another. Yay. We were going to watch the next one anyway, because lots of setup in this episode for this conversation with Asuka, and I want to have it in my brain now. Now. Okay, give me a moment. I'm going to resync, and then we'll be back with episode 3. All right, welcome back. We are good to go on episode 3 of Hibike S2. So, if you're watching the timer-based version, get it ready. Shed carapace. Mmm. Training camp. Oh, the whole thing? Oh, that's like an hour. Oh, yeah, that's 2 hours. That's nuts. But it's drilling its way into you, you know? And then we'll do it again. Ugh. How? How? You're a monster. Mm. Mm. Aw, you're no fun. Ooh, cool wipe. Troubled Nocturne, okay. Hmm. I Oh. So that's the part that they took from Kumiko. Why? That's another taking it on, you know, getting it. But no passion. Oof. She hasn't thought about it. Whoa. But it's the opposite of how she feels. Eh? But framing. But that hurt. And Missouri's on the edge of thinking about quitting. Then you don't have an oboe. Yuko and Mizore. Soka. So desu ka. Spicy? Hi. All right, here we go. Hello. Do we have snacks? Tea? Nice. Yeah. Nah. That's fine. I'll be one with Mizore. Yep. Give me info. Thank you. Great use of the reflections. Yes. Yes, I do. I see. But, 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 but. Sounds like this is all based in some kind of misunderstanding between the two of them. Because now the question changes completely. Why? It becomes entirely focused on the question of why does Mizore react that way around Nozomi. When Kumiko asked her why she stayed in band, the first thing we cut to was that half of the image, the one with Nozomi in it, right? I have a feeling it's the opposite. I have a feeling that Mizore hates her for leaving. Like, she gave her the hope, like, we're gonna go for gold, and then took off. And didn't ask her to come with, right? That was the other thing. She asked Yuko. She asked Yuko to come with. So maybe she just feels betrayed. Then you'd know. Isn't that something that Reina has done to Kumiko before? Totally. Technically. Technically. That's who's in the picture. All right, confirmation. I don't have a wife or kids. Yeah, oops. Nice reveal. Is he gonna be talking right now? Eh, eh. Hmm. Hmm. And that's part of why you're trying to go out of your way to support. Yeah. Dude, you're nearly crying right now. Aww. And we don't get any information on that conversation until now. But oh, is it though? Everyone's still dancing around it, huh? Uh. Yeah. You've already been spotted, Kumiko. Terrible stealth rolls. Terrible stealth rolls. Now that's a natural one. All right, that was. It's been a while since we've had one of those, eh? Whatever, whatever. Let's just sleep at night. Okay. Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah. Uh huh. That's not really her wheelhouse. Oh yeah. Hmm. All of it. But also, I know what the answer is. But do you have more insight? Hi, hi. Yeah, yeah. I just got the feeling that everybody's trying to protect Mizore without really talking to her. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Now you're all pushing. Wow, that's fucked. But then what would be the point? Empty seat. For sure. Isn't that a little at odds with your whole thing about Kaori? Yes. Yep. Yuko's cute. She's grown on me. Huh? Well, it's a training camp and stuff. Just need a third opinion. Hmm. Hmm. Get good scrub. True. True. So. Hmm. Hmm. How close to the end are we? I hope. Oh, we're pretty close to the end. Hmm. Going out alone, kind of like Rin on that day. Hmm. Is it the oboe? No, it's the UFO. Who dat then? Hi. Wow. And now? Yep. Okay. Okay. A bunch of new pieces kind of fall into place here. Okay, so working hard. Everybody's giving up their summer. Working. Trying to think when I should get to this thought. I'll get to it when I get to it. It should come up naturally. Okay. So our piece is uncomfortable nocturne or something? Troubled nocturne. Okay. Going through everybody, taking very careful note of all of the little individual things. It really struck me in this episode just how much effort goes into making an ensemble piece perfect, or as perfect as it can be. Like the amount, the quality of ear that you have to hear all of the little bits and pieces, anything that's out of place is incredible. And then the ability to guide and manage this many people to perform together in synchronously is insane. It's just insane. Kind of amazing. And then we get this kind of awesome moment where Taki gives her the go ahead to start actually playing that piece that he took away from her a while ago and had her continue practicing. So that's kind of cool and kind of fits in with what we were talking about at the end of the last episode with like Kumiko is growing and taking on more responsibility and actually, I would say, as a direct result of the revelations that she had and the realizations of like I want to do this, has been working and is seeing results from it. Fuck yeah, you work hard, get results. I love it, love it. And then we turn our attention to Mizore with the oboe solo, and this gets really interesting. It's like a robot's playing it, someone without passion, without care, without a desire, but you're playing it perfectly. There's just nothing there. And then even her response is, well, not quite robotic, but it sort of fits, right? You know? And then pushes her, what image comes to mind? A crescent moon. Then make it sound more like a crescent moon. And then here we have her compared, you know, you have to be like, listen to me, I'm the best in the world. Just like that trumpet player over there pointing at Reina. Kind of cool. Like the trumpet girl solo. Do we see Yuko's face at this moment when he says this? I think we do. Yeah. All three of them. Oh shit. Oh, that's so awkward. Carrie's just like, huh? Yuko's just like, Oh, that's great. All right. I'm just chock full of wisdom. Yep. Okay, bath time. Right, run into them. Reina is worried about relationship business, mapo tofu. Cool way of transitioning with the lights to later in the day. Kind of neat. Although, some of those lights kind of moved. Right? Yeah. The whole angle of the room changed slightly. Okay. I guess maybe just fading it looked weird. That's my guess. Is like if they just fade the lights down, it's not as distinctive or like clear that there's been a transition, or it just looks weird. I don't know. So we meet up and we ask her the truth, and the answer is interesting. I'll tell you if you're okay with it. It'll make you miserable. So, you want part of this pain? You can have it. You don't want it, but you can have it. And then we've got this. You know the oboist? She can't stand Nozomi-chan. I don't know if this is true. And it leads into the thought, but I want to get to Yuko's portion first. But Nozomi has no idea that there's a problem, thinks that they're just good friends. Mizori-chan can't play the oboe around you, and since we only have one, and since it's so much more difficult to pick up, it just makes sense to cut what you need to cut. But, at the same time, it's horrible. And beyond that, I don't know if it's founded on a truth or an assumption. Now, I fully believe, both Asuka and Yuko fully believe that the situation it calls for them to keep Nozomi away from Mizore. And given the way that Mizore has acted around Nozomi in the past, or around her flute playing, it seems like a reasonable assumption to make, but I don't quite buy it. There are little bits and pieces that make me feel like this puzzle piece doesn't quite line up. And one of them, I think, is the flashes that we get of Nozomi and Mizore running together, along with the conversations that they had in the bus. There's something else to this. Now, it's quite possible that Mizore can't actually stand Nozomi's presence right now, but there's more to the why. And I think Asuka like recognizes that there might be more to the why, but I'm also not sure that it's as serious as everyone is making it out to be. So cool thing, you should throw it out, your sparkler, because the trash can's next to Taki. And then we get this kind of cute thing where now Kumiko's the one putting her feet together and making her like, hey, come on, you smack it, let's go. Which is also pretty cute. And this is great. I love this gag, just in general. The gag of person appears and is like, did you get here? It's a fun one. And then he eventually lets slip that Taki lost his wife. Something that's been hinted at a couple of times with the photo in the binder that Taki keeps. And the ring on her finger, very distinctively shown in that photo. We could have assumed all of this, but it's good to have some confirmation. For sure. For sure. But she passed away 5 years ago. We get, that, and we've got them conversing over there. And, oh man, the way he, like, he's such a good friend. Like, he's such a good friend. Aw, it's awesome. All right, so, not dating. She's married. Great. Out we go. Just to spot on this conversation. Get totally spotted by Yuko. Where is that totally spotted by Yuko moment? I actually don't know where it went, but that's okay. You're hiding something, what is it? And we know the answer already. We get 2 horrible stealth rolls here. Rip. And then attempt to bonus action hide in the middle of a hallway. No cover. Roll a natural 1. Bam. Sorry for randomly making the D&D references, but that's just perfect. Okay, So we get some more of the explanation from Yuko's side, but also some bits and pieces of this. I love this line from Kumiko. It's continuing to do the thing that she does, which is that she speaks without thinking sometimes and says things that are really fucking insulting. I love it as a quirk, as just a character trait. It's not her character, obviously, but it is a quirk that she has. To make the distinction, I think, is important because within the past week or so, I've had an example that's been the opposite. That's been characters with just quirks. That's Fire Force, but this is not that. Kumiko has a very well developed character and also some quirks, and this is one of them, and it's very cute. I don't hate you, but I don't like you. And then the way she sort of tries to banter with her is the way that she was bantering with Reina previously in episode 1 during that conversation that they had when I think it was Mizori who asked if they were on bad terms, and then the two of them were like, "Are we on bad terms?" Fantastic. But Kumiko doesn't pick up on the sarcasm or the snark here, and so does not return with it. That's great. So she gained a reason to leave, right? Natsuki is genuinely trying to get her back for her sake, not for the ensemble's sake or anything like that. And then she asks her about hating competitions. She's asking everybody because, well, Kumiko's actually being quite a good little interpersonal conflict melodrama detective right now, trying to figure out what's really going on here, but also trying to figure out answers to her own questions. And we get a picture of how difficult it is to be judged for a creative endeavor. Like, yeah, that's fucking rough, especially when it's something so subjective. But she does go and gather all of these different opinions on the thing. I like this too. How Yuko says, if we're serious about making nationals, the better players should play. And then Kumiko's like, wait, what? Okay, I'm just gonna let that one sit, because that's the source of the conflict that they had before. That was between Yuko, Kaori, and Reina. It's like, wait, but then you should be behind Reina playing. Okay, I guess the personal thing kind of overrules that. Alrighty. This is very cute from Yuko. Alright, so we split, come back, converse. Like, the winner should get to say that, so I like competitions, yeah. Place to play, place to be judged, place to improve. And as Yuko was saying, like, what would be the point if we were just doing it casually? There would be nothing to strive for. And I think that's the key here, is that when there is a competition, there is something to strive for. There is a reason to get better outside of yourself. And I think that's something that humans broadly need, or at least is extremely helpful for, like, pushing us to strive, pushing us to better ourselves, is having something external. Like, you can say whatever platitudes you want about self-motivation, and I think that most of them are probably true to some extent, but they're not universal. Like, not everybody can motivate themselves to get better at something without some external reason. And I think that's normal and human. And I think that if you're struggling with self-motivation, that a lot of people will give you advice that's not very helpful. That's like, well, you just gotta motivate yourself. Thanks, I would, but I can't. It doesn't always work that way. And so having something external to strive for, toward whatever that is, some kind of measurable goal, is really valuable for people. And I think that's a solid answer to the question of, what do you think about competitions and why is it worth being miserable? And I think I haven't touched on that at all. Ever since Mizori said, I'm miserable, I've been having this kind of thought, like, I've said this before in a lot of other series, but I don't think the point of life is to avoid pain or avoid suffering. I think suffering is inevitable. Indeed, I think that if you choose your suffering well, that moving into it, leaning into the things that hurt you can be the only way forward and is the way to improve. And that's not to say that pain is necessarily a good indicator that you're on the right path, but it's also not to say that pain is something you should shrink away from or that it's an indicator that you're on the wrong path. The pain comes no matter what you choose to do. You will hurt. This is life. It is not easy. It is not nice. It is not kind to us. That is part of the human condition, but you can choose your suffering. And I think the question that Mizore may have to answer is less, how do I stop being miserable, and more, what am I willing to be miserable for? And at present, she strikes me as, well, kind of like Kumiko at the beginning of the series, sort of adrift, sort of going with the current. And I've said a couple of times in this reaction video that it seems as though she stayed with the band more out of inertia than anything else, just because that's what she was doing, and because nothing came by and prompted her to leave. And I think that that is the perfect way to lead into this thought that I had during this episode, which is that maybe there is a way to resolve the conflict between Mizore and Nozomi, and nobody else has seen it, and the only person who will eventually see it will be Kumiko. Partly because she doesn't watch her step that much and says things that are maybe a little untoward for the situation, and partly because she's just genuinely interested in getting to the bottom of this and figuring it out, partly because it is such a similar internal conflict to the one that's going on within her, or that she's most recently gone through. Like, the reasons that Nozomi had for leaving and the reasons she had for coming back are things that I think Kumiko can relate to. And likewise, I think we'll find that Mizore, whatever Mizore's reasons are going to be something that Kumiko can relate to. I wrote down during this reaction, I wrote only one thing down, and I wrote down Kumiko glued together, because I had this momentary vibe that Kumiko, as the good little detective, is going to figure out the actual root of the issue and potentially solve it. And I think the way that we do that is we talk to Mizore. And I get the feeling that everyone has been tiptoeing around Mizore this whole time, and that is part of what has made her miserable. She doesn't have anyone that she's opened up to at all. She strikes me as alone. She has Yuko near her. She has people near her. And she has people who think that they're looking out for her. But I don't know how well they actually understand what she's going through. I don't know. And it makes me think that the lines that Nozomi said in the last episode are critical. And maybe worth unpacking. She said that she had gone and asked, I believe it was Yuko to leave with her. And I think maybe Natsuki as well, but did not ask Mizore. And I imagine a timeline of events like Nozomi becomes Mizore's beacon of inspiration during that bus ride. We're going for gold, right? She becomes the one that she looks up to. In the same way that Natsuki looks up to, in the same way that Mizore looked up to, in the same way that Nozomi looked up to Asuka in middle school. Wait. Yeah. That's correct. Okay. In the same way that Nozomi looked up to Asuka in middle school as being someone who, wait. No? Let's just skip that thought then. In the way that somebody looked up to somebody else in middle school as being like the head and president of the place and things, perhaps Mizore looked up to Nozomi in that particular way. And if so, then Nozomi's decision to leave without an explanation or an ask you to come with could have struck Mizore as a betrayal of that ideal, right? We said a little while ago that Nozomi is an idealist to a fault. I think it was Natsuki who said that, right? An idealist to a fault. And something interesting about idealists is that idealists can very strongly influence other people. People will latch onto idealists and run with their ideals. And I get the feeling that maybe Mizore did that with Nozomi, that she didn't really have a reason to be in Wind Ensemble, but was, and then Nozomi gave her a reason, and then Nozomi left without explaining why or asking her to come with, and so she felt like the ideal itself, as well as the friendship, was betrayed. All of this is conjecture, and I could be dead fucking wrong, but I feel like I'm on the right track at least. That maybe this is all at its deepest core a misunderstanding between Mizore and Nozomi, and that everyone else is taking action without truly understanding the situation, either in order to protect their own interests as the ensemble and to protect Mizore as their friend. And Nozomi gets the short end of the stick because she walked away. Which, again, leads me to think that Kumiko will be our glue. And I don't know if this will result in Nozomi coming back or anything like that. But I would like a little bit of mending between the two of them, or at least some insight into why they are acting the way that they are. Either way, we are kicking the drama/melodrama/interpersonal conflict into seriously high gear in this episode. And I really mean it when I say that Kumiko's acting like a detective. The structure of this episode, more than anything else, there are other things here, but structure-wise, this is a detective investigating. This is like going and interviewing or interrogating someone who has insight into the situation, Asuka, going and eavesdropping on a conversation, and then getting seen and having to have an interview with someone else about the same situation. Like, Kumiko really is acting like a detective, and the structure of the story is more like a mystery than anything. It's just that the mystery isn't a whodunit, it's a why this be this way. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes sense in my brain skull. Why this be this way? It's a melodramatic detective story, kind of, at present, sort of, with the backdrop of music. And I think that's pretty cool. I'm definitely here for it. Really, general notes, really continuing to enjoy the continuing and greater and greater character development and development of characters that I didn't really expect that from. It's pretty awesome. Loving the cast. Production is a thing. It's definitely a thing with this show. Every episode looks fucking amazing, and I don't know how they keep doing it. Praise KyoAni. Praise the sun. Okay. Wow. So yeah, general notes. Yep, is good. Is still good show. Is kind of better show than before. It's getting really interesting. I like it. Okay. Now I'm stalling. I'm at the point where I'm stalling because I don't want to stop recording the video. Let's not do that. Let's finish this up. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Hibike, Season 2, Episodes 2 and 3. I hope that you've enjoyed this video as much as I have. I hope you've enjoyed the episodes as much as I have. And I hope to catch you next week in the next one. If you want the next episode about a week early, sometime within the next 24 hours of this going up on YouTube, there will be the next installment of my reaction series up on Patreon, so check that out if you want to. Otherwise, thanks for watching. It's been fun. I'll see you next week, and peace.